International clothing manufacturers have failed to reach a deal in Geneva on the creation of a compensation fund for victims of two Bangladeshi factory disasters. What you see behind me is a reminder of those horrific pictures that we saw back in April. More than 1,100 people died when a factory building collapsed near Dhaka. And in November as well last year, more than 100 people were killed in a fire near the city. Donkin has more for us.
Lucy, I'm out here in central London, just a short walk from you in the studio on Oxford Street, one of the world's busiest shopping streets. You know, they say every year some 200 million people walk this pavement, and some estimates say by the end of this year, some $8 billion would have been spent on this street alone. It's home to international retailers, some of whom do stock cheap clothes made by factory workers in Bangladesh. But looking around here, it doesn't seem like the appetite for those products has changed. And for more on this, I can talk to my colleague from the BBC's Bengali service, Manushi. Now, Manushi, I understand you've spoken to a representative of factory workers who was at that Geneva meeting. Was he satisfied with what happened there?
I spoke to the textile coordinator for Industry All Bangladesh Council after the meeting. He was clearly very, very disappointed with the outcome. He was actually telling me that only 9 out of 21 brands turned up, and although they have agreed to continue their discussion on the compensation issue in terms of setting up a fund, but it's going to be a lengthy process according to him. So as an interim measure, he put forward a proposal that the brands actually pay 3 months' salary for the garments workers who have been injured in the accident, or some of them who are missing because their families are really struggling at the moment to make ends meet. It will really help. But apart from Primark, no other brands agreed to do that. He was actually saying that these brands, they issue compliance certificates to the factories, therefore they have certain responsibilities to do something, and he is very disappointed that that's not forthcoming.
Since these two disasters back in Dhaka, has anything changed for factory workers in Bangladesh?
Well, the government actually has tried or is trying to reform the existing labor law. They are trying to bring in the trade union rights. They're trying to incorporate that, and that's being argued at the moment. So that is one movement on the government front. And the Bangladesh Ready-Made Garment Owners Association, they had a meeting yesterday. They have been having other meetings, but yesterday they actually met all the garment owners, and they discussed building safety, fire safety, and also the workers' demand to increase minimum wage. Basically, they're saying that it's going to take time. They are very much aware of the need to improve the safety standard, but it's going to take time. And today, the garment workers have staged a demonstration in Dhaka asking for an increase to the minimum wage for them.
Manushi, thank you very much. And while we've been out here, we've been asking consumers whether those events in Dhaka has changed what they buy here.
I would say no for myself, personally, and it's quite bad, I know this, but I think more things like that in the media need to be shown, because I know there's more events that happen in those countries and more like awareness needs to be brought up, and I think people will change where they actually shop.
Not particularly, they all seem to be made in generally, sort of like Bangladesh and China and India, I guess, and everywhere seems to be made in the same places.
I'm coming from Italy, so I try to buy something which is Italian made, but it's so difficult nowadays because nothing is Italian made. And so, I know, I try, but it's not an easy job.
So there you go, Lucy, some of the views here on Oxford Street, and we'll continue to get reaction out here, but for now, it's back to you in the studio.
Donkin there on Oxford Street. Well, only a third of the retailers who used the factories actually even turned up for that two-day meeting in Geneva. Key absentees were Walmart, Benetton, for instance. It was only Primark, as Tom was saying, that made a firm commitment to the funding. But we should mention that Benetton released a statement saying that many companies had stayed away because of a lack of clarity around the talks. The retailer said they would focus as well on working directly with those affected by the Rana Plaza disaster.